So it's hard to imagine, but this hot air balloon material, which is basically like a paper bag, can be twisted and held in a spiral shape.
And if I dare to interject, these big open spaces, once they're pulled on, they get tighter around there.
Yeah.
You can kind of see.
That's where I'm looking as I'm pulling. I want to form the pleats right in that zone there.
Yeah.
I'm not really looking anywhere else.
So you kind of do that over and over and over again, and it gets bigger and bigger, right?
That's pretty much it. Begin at the beginning and don't stop until you're finished. All right, so you see here what we're doing? We're just tidying up the loose fabric inside the futomaki.
At this point, once you planted it, you can manhandle the shit out of it, right?
Yeah, once the clamp is on, all bets are off. It's fair game. Now it's already pretty tight with the two wing nuts, but with this clamp in the middle, this sucker ain't going anywhere. I've pulled on these things and poked and prodded, and they're pretty damn stable. So there you go. All right, so basically, now it is ready to go in the dye. And all of this fabric that's hanging down the bottom will go into the dye up to the edge of the clamp, which runs through the center of the spiral. So this straight line, when the fabric gets unspiraled, will form a spiral. And it will be half this color and half the color which is not being dyed right now. And all of that fabric is being protected and contained inside the futomaki roll. So there's exactly half of it that's dangling below and exactly half of it's kept inside here. And once we're done dyeing this first half, this will all get washed, get it as clean as you can, and then I'll put another set of clamps here, and it gets flipped over, and the other side goes in the other color. And that's how it works.
Cool.
Simple.
But that's the balloon that we are restoring. I'm sure I will put up greater pictures of it or something along those lines. And on a personal note, that's the balloon I learned to fly in. Yippee.
Yay! So the dye has now been weighed out. We've got the components for the purple color and the components for the green color. Each one has citric acid, and each color is a mixture of two different colors. And the reason why I do a mix is because different colors move differently in the fabric, and one will penetrate deeper than the other, so you actually get a two-tone effect that makes it look more three-dimensional and just generally cool. So that's what we've got going here. This is enough dye for 49 liters and 49 liters, and that's for one panel, and we do this 12 times for the whole balloon. And it's important to be very careful with the weighing because you want color consistency from panel to panel because you're making the upper ones and the lower ones. There's a pair here and there's a pair here, and they're made at different times, so it's two totally different dye mixes. So you must be careful. Et voila. And this is color number 3 in our range here. We've got 6 different shades on Lucy. Each one comes together with the purple shade. And the first 3 yellows and greens are a mixture of this color and this color. And then the other greens are a mixture of this color and this color. So these are actually all from different dye manufacturers, but I had to look around and find exactly the colors that work the best for this. So
Well, if someone's ever really interested in recreating the balloon, here are the recipes.
there you go, technical details.
But I think this shows better the actual colors because it is the same fabric, right?
Yeah, that's lin strand fabric.
Yeah, and it's the same recipes, so yeah. Well, anyway, I asked Jason to tell a little bit about this contraption he made specifically for this balloon, which has, as a joke, but it's true, traveled more than the average person in their life.
Yes. This tool has been it's been across Europe, actually.
Yeah.
It's traveled from Latvia to France and back. So, so basically what we're looking at here, you can see there are two dye vats, and there's actually a larger outer container, so it's a double boiler. There are two electric cookers on the bottom that are kind of squished up against the bottom of it, and the control is here. You can control the temperature there, although I just run it on full blast. Turn it off with the switch, and I've put this little cover in here to keep everything hot when it's cooking. This prevents evaporation from the outer water bath, and it gets nice and dirty during the dyeing process.
Yeah, see, I kind of imagine the viewer might be surprised to learn that there's a bunch of liquid down there as well.
Yeah, that's the outer water bath that warms the inner dye bath. And, oh, this thing's a little bit hot. Okay, ooh, karsts. So there you go. That's what it looks like underneath. So this is just hot water. And then these are the two dye colors.
And all of this outside stuff is very insulated.
Yep, thick house insulation, that thick, I think that's 5 centimeters. And then I put this white contact paper on the outside just to make it easy to wipe off. Okay, right now it's not so dirty. Good job, guys. Yeah.
And thermometers and stuff.
Oh yeah. This one monitors the water bath, and this monitors color A, and of course it's always good to have a second opinion. And those monitor color B.
I really appreciate that there's a label for the second opinion.
Well, I get a little punchy sometimes when I'm working on this stuff, so I gotta keep myself amused. Oh yeah, and it's all on wheels with the locking casters, so right now it's nice and stable, but when I transfer the used dye, I roll it outside, so I will make less of a mess in the barn. This is kind of the idea.
So if we come over here a little bit,
What's over here?
do you mind telling us about what that thing is called?
Ah.
Its name and why?
It's the Racky Ricardo. It's the rack. It's my migrant worker who helps me do the process. And Ricky Ricardo, of course, is the character from the I Love Lucy show. He was Lucy's husband, Ricky Ricardo. Ricardo. He spoke with a very strong Hispanic accent. So yeah, Ricky is here to help with the process. Yeah.
I see you've been keeping yourself amused while making everything.
Well, you do tend to daydream while you're making this stuff. So yeah, so this is ready to be said goodnight to. This will cool off, and then tomorrow the first thing I'll do is I'll siphon off the dye and dispose of it, and then we'll be off to the races with the next panel.
Cool.
There you go.
Cheers.
Time to wash this. Cheers. So now we're going to mix Spalding Green. Start with the citric acid. Just get that going. And, ooh, I almost grabbed the wrong colors. Use the purples.
Happens.
Happens. This is why we pay attention while we're working. Alright. So, in with the yellow. This guy, it does dissolve. It just only dissolves when it touches water. So you gotta encourage it a little bit. And of course, it wouldn't be green unless there was some blue mixed in. So let's throw some blue in. Alright.
This one seemed to dissolve easier.
Well, it sank. It's not going to get off the bottom. Yeah, I can feel it on the bottom of the dye vat, on the tip of the spoon. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's down there. Ooh, sticky and gooey. But look at that color.
And this will be that green in the middle there.
Yeah. And we're going to do a test piece before we put in the workpiece, because this is the first time this recipe has been done at this scale, and in case I made a mistake in the spreadsheet, I'd rather find out on a 10 by 10 square of test material than the precious balloon panel.
Fair enough.
So we'll add a little step in there. Alrighty, let's throw on the test piece. Dye this for 35 minutes, see what color she comes, because you can see when you put it in, that looks nothing like the color that's up there. But that doesn't matter because it's only been 5 seconds. So that's why we do a test. Et voila. Start the timer. Alrighty, we have the test piece. Just want to rinse it off here with some of the industrial cleanser, which is also lovely for the skin, of course. And it's a little wet, so it's going to be a little darker than the sample on the wall, but it's close enough to know that we're in the ballpark and we haven't done anything incredibly stupid, which is really what this is about. Let's check it out. Hey, that's Spalding green, all right. Let's continue. Basically, the idea is to get this in there. And this stays in the dye for 35 minutes. Is just to kind of stick the spatula in between the pleats and kind of open them up for a moment and let dye get into the crevices and stuff. And this is pretty important because this line here, this is the boundary between the two colors on the spiral, and you want this line to be pretty well defined. You don't want dropouts, you don't want big white spaces. And so that's why I do this. And in the center, which is right here, I actually really get down and dirty and try to stick the point of the spatula in between each pleat. And really just go back and forth in there and try and get some liquid pumping around. And you know, I'll do this a bunch of times while this is in here, so. So during the dyeing process, of course, with all this steam coming off of here, you lose water, and it turns out there's actually quite a lot of water loss. During the dyeing, you lose about 2 liters. So I will top up the level one more time after this. And this is just to keep the dye at the same concentration and to keep the dye level up to the edge of the clamp, because you really want the dye to get that whole spiral center. You want it to be right up to the line, and it will be perfect. So once I put the water in, of course you got to mix the dye, and the easiest way to do that is just to kind of slosh this a little bit back and forth, and that sort of mixes the water that I just put in with the dye that's in there. Do that a couple of times. And when I can see again, I'll get back to poking. All right, I can see. Let's do it. Slowly lifting it. It's kind of heavy. The dye is draining out of the pleats. But we'll just do this slowly, bit by bit on each side.
FYI, viewer, 35 minutes have passed.
Oh yeah, it's been in the dye for 35 minutes. Yeah. And you can kind of come around this side.
Yep.
You can kind of squeeze the dye out from, so if I picked it up right now, I'd be lifting all this dye here. So we'd rather leave that in the dye vat.
Looks cool.
Yeah. And as we do this, we can move it further and further out of the bath. And you'll be able to squeeze more and more. And I'll come over there now. And coax the workpiece. Oh, there goes the green dye out the other side. Hopefully it's going in the bucket. That'd be nice.
Most of it.
Yeah? All right. All right, I've caught a huge pocket of dye here. I don't know where it is, which side it's on. Is it on that side or is it on this side? That looks pretty heavy. Oh, it's on this side. All right, let's just squeeze it out like that.
So when it doesn't go in the bucket, that's what happens.
Where'd it go?
Well, I mean the pink patch.
Oh, yeah. Right. All right, I'm coming around. And now we can start scooping some of these long bits over the edge. And you'll hear some splashing. It's kind of hot, but it's not too hot. And no matter what, my fingers are going to change colors today. So there's no harm in doing this. What's going on here? There's a big, there it goes. Okay. Everyone out of the bath.
Soup.
All right. So you can see how that can be a little interesting. There we are. We are out of the dye. And now we're going to take a little walk outside. Let's go browsing. Beep beep. It's nice to have a yard where you can be a little messy. The grass isn't going to complain. And then we wash it. And so we're going to wash it and we're going to reclamp it on the part that's been dyed, and we'll dye the part that has not been dyed. But to keep things nice and clean, it's important to get rid of all this green dye. So I'm going to sit here for, I don't know, a little while and run a bunch of water on this and coax all of this green dye out of the workpiece. It's not going to be totally clean because there's dye stuck between the layers and you can't rinse that off when you're doing it like this. So we just do our best. And we enjoy the new color of our hands. Yeah, this is the stuff that makes tie-dye so special. When you have folds like this, which preserve some white space, and you get these little local symmetrical patterns.
Happy accidents.
That's what makes tie-dye cool. That's just the way it is. So we have finished dyeing the green half, and we have finished washing it just with water, clean water. And now I'm just drying off any little bits of whatever is on here before we change the clamp over. Any dye that's still in it can run, and so of course we're trying to finish with the green, so we don't want any extra green floating around in here. So I'm just dabbing the insides of all of these folds with this towel, and this actually helps a lot. There'll still be some juice flowing, but this really minimizes it.
Wait, so you try to get all that juice out because?
Because it will interfere with the dyeing of the purple. We want to have just green on this side and just purple on that side. And if there's juice on this side, when we start dyeing the purple, it will run down into the purple. And of course, a little bit of that is nice, but not too much.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation, eh?
Yeah, there you go. So now we're going to transfer the whole workpiece to a new set of clamps. this is a bit tricky, and we're going to fix this part that pulled out while I was rinsing. So let's get that where it needs to be. So line this up as best as I can. Oh wait, hold on. We got to get rid of this first. Center clamp. And we release the futomaki. And you can see that all of this lovely fabric was nicely protected inside here. Still white. And then we release the kraken. Look at that beautiful line.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see.
And this stuff will kind of rinse out, right?
Yes and no, but it's actually just a little bit on the surface of the pleat. Okay, let me take a look at this part that pulled out here. Some interesting shit here.
What did you do, Jason? Oh my God.
It's the magenta, and now it's going to froth up. We're going to have to wait for the bubbles to pop before we put the tie-dye in here, because it's about 1 centimeter of bubbles. It's going to be a little bit more before it's done. I don't know why, but this stuff just off-gasses when it goes into solution.
Must be chemistry, eh?
There must be something I can put in there to make it not do that, but if you just wait, the bubbles go away.
So I guess it's quite trivial.
Yeah, it takes about 10 minutes. So now we are coaxing the workpiece into the purple dye, trying, of course, to eliminate bubbles as we get this into the dye vat. Alrighty, coming out of the purple. Let's see what we got here.
For reference, the temperature of that whole liquid is about 82 Celsius and 180 Fahrenheit.
That's right. Yes, because it was first done in the US, so it was all done in Fahrenheit. So that was our reference. Wait.
Yeah, they used the wrong system over there.
Yeah, they were rebels. Scoundrels. Alrighty. Ready for the big splash? Here it comes. Alright. We're out.
As you mentioned before, everything kind of after this purple is, let's say, simpler.
Downhill.
Yeah.
Simpler, less risky, less handling. The big steps have been done. But I still like to get a bunch of this out before releasing everything. I don't know if it'll stain it because it's not up to temperature anymore. But my instinct is to get rid of as much dye as I can.
Fair enough.
There's an awkward few minutes when you're unsticking them before they're in the rinse water, and they're just kind of sitting in their slimy juices, and it looks horrible. I've never had any problem with it self-dyeing at that stage, but it just looks bad, and it's painful for my heart. So I try to get most of it off here. See, the red stuff is like a powder. And you can just, it just comes off like that.
That's satisfying.
It's kind of weird. Okay, so let's see what we got.
I suspect that the other side will be green.
Yeah, what's in here should still be green. That is the idea after all. Futomaki, thank you very much. Hey, 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 it's still green. Get rid of the towel. Open up some clamps. So this was the tail that slipped out and I had to manually reconstruct. And it worked perfectly.
That white line's cool.
Yeah, so in the center, I wanted to get the color and the purple closer together, so I pushed that part lower in the clamp. We'll see what the result is. If it's what I wanted or if it's awful and horrible. All right, that gets out of there. So here we are. Big tie-dye. Ready?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
There she be. And yeah, the center does have more color in it. That's nice. All right. All right, it's a little messy.
Yeah, but we'll clean it.
This is the part that makes me nervous. So I'm gonna peel these apart and get them in the wash. Because we have two layers here. The inner layer.
It's the plot twist no one expected.
Well, if you're paying attention in the beginning.
So you'll have to forgive me for such a plot twist, but here's a brief video on a different day explaining how that happened. Basically, we put water down on the ground, then we put this first layer, flattened it. Now it's sprayed with slime. We covered it with the second layer, flattened all of that, and then afterwards it is rolled up, put on the pleating table, pleated, and that's around where the video began. And according to Jason, this is one of the most important parts of the whole process, because when these two layers are thoroughly stuck together, it means that afterwards they will not move at all. And so in the final result, it's almost perfect mirror image, which if you combine a whole lot of them onto a balloon, will make it look very uniform and sleek. So yeah, I'm glad I got the opportunity to show this to you as well, and I'm sorry for not doing it at the very beginning on the day we dyed everything else that you are seeing. Cheers.
But yeah, they're stuck back to back. This is the coating side touching the coating side. So actually the outside surface is going to be the outside of the balloon. That's what everybody sees. And you can see on the inside, the dye doesn't really go in there.
But I can kind of help you.
But somehow it does get in there. Alrighty. Let's go in the water. So of course, as with everything in this process, there's a special technique for everything. And with this, I like to feed it in from a corner and submerge it as it goes in. This helps to get water touching every surface of the tie-dye. Because if you just ball it up and throw it in, I'm sure part of it will never get rinsed.
Now, I also think a worthy footnote is that the rubber boots are not just a bold fashion statement.
Yes, finally, it becomes clear why I'm wearing my Migla shoes. But again, you know, ballooning equipment being multi-purposed for making tie-dye, yeah, it's a good idea. Woo. I think I got purple dye on my face.
Yeah, you did. You murderer.
All right, so that's in the water. That's pretty nice. But we don't need to make 2 buckets of water super messy. So this one is immediately going to jump into the next bucket. And we'll put that guy in here.
A brief note. That first bucket was just laundry detergent, and the second bucket has this beautiful thing which you can't even see the name of, but it's called Sinterpaal. It's an industrial detergent, correct?
That's what it is.
So yeah, they get washed in soapy water, not just barn water.
Soapy barn water.
Yeah. Those are pretty
It's
damn sweet
just freaking
spirals.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's the perfection, the line.
And yeah, there's two of them.
Just ridiculous.
I will even dare to flip my camera. Whoa.
And probably the camera's getting some color off of this too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting really good color actually.
Nice.
So people, do you understand why hippies have been doing this for ages?
Ha!
Damn.
Nereali. Look at that bunch of pleats right there.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I just love when you get these little symmetrical creatures like this.
Yeah.
Okay, those are relatively simple, but they're everywhere in the balloon. And this is the part that just makes me happy. That the mark. This is how you make a mosaic of tie-dye spirals, is you know where the intersection between neighboring panels will be. And you plan it, and you build it accordingly. And that's just wicked cool.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of dirty tarpaulin. She'll be fine.
And now we will leave them to dry in the rain.
Yep, that's how it works. It's like Michael Jackson. Getting up to get under, getting down to get over.
Yep. Cool. Bye-bye.